One of the biggest challenges when rolling out a DevSecOps process is the volume of issues it can raise for development teams. We don't want the automation of security in DevOps to give the dev team massive lists of vulnerabilities to check on every build or every release. We want a balance between finding real and new issues and keeping development velocity on track. So how can we turn the hundreds of issues these security tools are going to spit back at us in every pipeline into an effective security backlog, whilst being flagged to important issues that do need to be fixed before the release? Hi, my name's Guy Robinson, and I'm the founder and chief security officer of Uleska. Uleska is a platform that helps you implement and scale application security programs by fully automating and orchestrating preferred security tools in CI/CD and other processes, and having a DevSecOps vulnerability management that works for you. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to effectively manage vulnerabilities in a fast-paced DevSecOps process. Brave the first issue triaging. So let's assume you're starting with an existing well-developed project or application. Now, running a bunch of security tools is going to result in a decent-sized list of issues. And those issues are maybe going to be put into your DevOps pipeline or whatever, different places or lots of different screens, which is hard to manage. There's going to be obvious issues, there's going to be confusing ones, false positives, duplicates, and even bunches of issues that can be fixed with the same patch or countermeasure. But if all those issues are simply dumped onto a busy development team, they're likely to be ignored, especially when they're hard to find against multiple issues that are already there in multiple tools. Or worse, it's actually going to block the release or build because lots of non-important security issues are just getting in the way. We've found nothing is better for this first, and we do stress it's the first issue triage than going through it manually. So we recommend just getting stuck in. We treat this first run as a normal security test. Expect hundreds or thousands of issues and be prepared to go through them. Now, to make this easier on the future you, do this in a way that means those marked out issues, the triaged out issues, the false positives, duplicates, non-issues, etc., are automatically recorded, regardless of the tools or scripts you're running. Now, this means the next time you run those same security tools through your build or DevSecOps process, they're going to get remembered and they're going to get re-triaged, and you're still going to be left with this list of real issues that you still have to deal with. That is your security backlog. This means that instead of having those wealth of vulnerabilities reported and having a haystack to go through to find what issues are coming up, you're only working with a smaller percentage of those issues that are actually your security backlog to resolve. Manage an automated security backlog. Agile development is all about incremental changes, and DevSecOps should be exactly the same. And once you've got your initial triage done, running the DevSecOps security tools through your CI/CD process in the future is either going to confirm there's an issue that's still there because it hasn't been dealt with, indicate that an issue's been fixed because the tools found it before, but now it hasn't, or a new issue is going to appear because it wasn't found before and now it's come up by the security tools. New issues can pretty much come from two different areas. One, the code or configuration changes you've done in the last few days or since the last change has resulted in a security issue that's now been flagged up by the tools. Or the security tools themselves could be updated, maybe their lists or maybe their checks that they do, and they're now indicating a new issue in the existing code. Now think of something like the log4shell issue, where previously running those versions of log4j was absolutely fine, no issues against it. But now those same tools are going to flag those versions up as a security flaw, even though the underlying code may not have changed. By automatically managing and recording these lists of real issues against every pipeline run, it then makes it much easier for you to concentrate on the differences. So say the last run we had 100 issues after our triage. That's fine, that's our security backlog. We now know that we have plans to burn it down, but now in our new pipeline run, we've identified there's 102 issues. Those two new issues need to be easily flagged up to make them visible and actionable for all the teams. You don't want to check through the outputs of 10, 20, 30 different tools to see what new issues comes up. You want us to be easily flagged up that there's these new issues to be dealt with. In this way, our dev and security teams can focus on those two new issues as they should. So enter DevSecOps vulnerability management, matching previous issues consolidated from all the different tools with the current run, so that differences can be easily flagged and handled. This is much better than manually going through lots of different haystacks of tool outputs, etc., to find what is the difference from the last run. And remember all those issues that were triaged out, the false positives, the duplicates, the non-issues, they're still going to be raised by the security tools. The trigger in the code or the project is still going to be there. But instead of them being noisy in our vulnerability management, they're automatically put into like a separate list of invalid or handled issues, leaving us to concentrate on our real backlog of security issues that needs to get burned down. It makes it so much simpler to be able to concentrate on issues and not be distracted by a lot of noise. Get a better understanding of the risk of new issues. So even with only new issues being flagged up, any step where we need to manually look at those issues breaks the automation flow. And manually then trying to understand the priority of issues results in that break. So how do we focus on every new vulnerability? Well, it depends. If they're a very low risk issue, maybe it can wait till later. Maybe your team can prioritize other big tickets instead. On the other hand, if these new issues have a great risk towards the application of the business, then you want to be alerted very quickly and understand to resolve them before going live. And pioneering DevSecOps tools like Uleska come with the ability to automatically determine the risk level of new security issues that are raised by any security tool. It's going beyond CVSS. It takes the manual work out of deciphering the major issues from the minor ones. Calculating this risk for each issue in line during the CI/CD pipeline means you can further reduce the issues that are alerted to in real time. And it means you can decide on a certain threshold of issues that can affect the build or hold it up or result in notifications. And that further reduces the abundance of all these issues being raised by these security tools. Because not only are you just getting new issues, but you're just getting new important issues to deal with. And getting alerted to these issues early on saves time because you're very much shifting left. This has been evidenced by people like Facebook, where a near 0% fix rate was seen previously in some of their experiments by automated security checks that were applied after release, because the development team had already moved on to another project or another fix. However, whenever Facebook moved to inline security checks before the release, their fix rate went up to 70%. So to recap, brave that first issue triage and look forward to more automation after that. Manage your automated security backlog and get a better understanding of the risk of new issues as they're raised so you can react accordingly.